Week 12, day 3. Persistence. And we're talking about just keep on keeping on. And the story today is the Bulldog Story. And I'm going to read this because I want to make sure that I get all of it and not try to tell it without missing something. I'm on page 73 of developingcharacter.org. It says, I once heard about a man who loved to hunt. The man bought 2 pups that were top-notch bird dogs. He kept them in his backyard where he trained them. One morning, an ornery little vicious-looking bulldog came a-shuffling and a-snorting down the alley. He crawled under the fence into the backyard with the bird dogs. It was easy to see that he meant business. The man's first impulse was to take his setters and lock them in the basement so they wouldn't tear up that little bulldog. But he decided he'd let that little bulldog learn a lesson he would never forget. Naturally, they got into a scuffle in the backyard, and those 2 bird dogs and that bulldog went round and round. There were growls and yips as bulldog hair flew everywhere. The little critter finally had enough, so he squeezed under the fence and took off. All the rest of the day, he whined and licked his sores. Interestingly, the next day at about the same time, here came that same ornery little bulldog back under the fence and after those bird dogs. Once again, those bird dogs beat the stuffing out of that little animal and would have chewed him up if he hadn't retreated down the alley. Would you believe the very next day he was back? Same time, same situation, same results. Once again, after the bulldog had all he could take, he crawled back under the fence and found his way home to lick his wounds. Well, the man had to leave town for some business, and he was gone for several weeks. When he came back, he asked his wife what had happened. She told him that every day that little bulldog came back and fought with his 2 bird dogs. He never missed a day. It was now to the point when when those bird dogs simply hear that bulldog snorting down the alley and spot him squeezing under the fence, they immediately start whining and run to the basement. The little bulldog struts around the backyard like he owns it. The bulldog never quit. You ever get whipped? You ever get beat up? I tell you, in the game of football, many's the time that you lose the first quarter and you lose the second quarter. And you lose the third quarter and you win the fourth quarter. If you don't quit, if you just keep coming back. Many a time you're sitting in a physics class, I was, and had no idea what that teacher could have been talking Greek to me. And finally, because I didn't quit, I just kept listening and kept watching and kept working. Finally, some of it came to me enough for me to pass. You can't ever quit. See, that's the key to the little bulldog story. He just never did quit. He just kept coming back, coming back, coming back. And finally, he won. That's the same way in life. You don't win every day. There are days when we would do the boot camp or the Maverick Maker or the Wings or the Stinger, whatever it was, the beginning of the deal, and I would have players, and I'd say, Coach, I understand the Bulldog story. I got whipped today. You know, talent gets you so far, but eventually there are more talented people than you are. You see the outstanding middle school football player that doesn't succeed in high school because all he has is talent. And when he got to that point that talent was equal to his, he couldn't handle it, and he quit. You see so many high school players that go to college, and when the talent gets to be equal, and they can't just win with nothing but talent, they quit. You see, when you get, and I used to tell our players all the time, when you get to college, the guy next to you is going to be just as good as you are. There are no bad football players in college. So every day is a challenge. And you've got to be like that Bulldog. You've got to go out there every day. It's the same thing in that English class. It's the same thing in life. It's the same thing in a marriage. It's the same thing with everything you do. You just persist. You never quit. You never give up. How much talent or skill or knowledge does it take to quit? Question number one. How much talent, skill, or knowledge does it take to quit? Can anybody quit? Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty simple question, isn't it? It doesn't take anything for someone to quit. What are some of the justifications that people give for quitting? It's not fun anymore. Well, that's the one thing I heard more than anything else later in my career. It's not fun because you're not good at it. How do you get good at something? You have to persist until you get good at something. You're not good at it, it's no fun. Why is it no fun? Because you're not any good at it. You don't come every day. You don't improve every day. You don't sit down and write some goals and gain a little bit every day. And if you don't do that, then it's not any fun. What else? Why else do you quit? Well, I quit because I didn't enjoy it. Well, you don't enjoy it if you're not any good at it. Nobody does things that they're not good at. But there are a lot of things that you've got to work at to be good at. College football is not nearly as much fun as high school was, Coach. No, because you're not the hero anymore. You don't get all the attention and the adulation. You're in a difficult situation. You got to tough it out. You got to persist. I love the story about Von Miller calling his dad. He was at A&M, quit, on his way home, calls his dad from, I think it was Center, Texas, if I remember correctly. Dad, I'm on my way home. Really, what happened? I quit. Oh, really? You quit the football team? Yeah, I quit the football team, quit school. Okay. Where are you going to stay? What do you mean, where am I going to stay? There ain't no quitters at this house. There are no quitters at this house. I'm going to tell you right now, turn around and go back. Take whatever punishment you have to have for missing practice and stick with it. You all know who Von Miller is. I mean, the guy is one of the best professional football players there is, been the most valuable player, making millions of dollars, plays for Denver. And he owes it to one time. The daddy said, don't quit. Don't quit. Screw the braces on. Toughen up. Stick with it. He did. See, if you persist, you got a chance. If you quit, there's no chance. See you tomorrow.